and this is Around the Family Islands. Today on our show, we will talk with Skip Miller and George Harris. Skip Miller and his wife Jackie, who went to Eleuthera to do mission work some 11 years ago, are now in charge of the sailing and swimming school in Governor's Harbour, Eleuthera, where children some as young as 3 years old are taught swimming and sailing. We have with us today Mr. Skip Miller of the Eleuthera Sailing and Swimming School. Welcome to Around the Family Islands.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm fine, Mr. Skip Miller. How are you?
I'm very well. It's nice to be with you today.
Right. It's nice weather for sailing and swimming in Eleuthera today?
Yes, it is. The harbor looks beautiful.
Okay. Now, Mr. Miller, tell us a little about your sailing and swimming school. How did this all get started?
Well, the swimming and sailing school started approximately 7 years ago here in Governor's Harbor. And throughout the course of the years, it has expanded from just sailing to swimming lessons. And we have Optimus Prams and Sunfish that we sail every Saturday. We have hosted the Sunfish Bahamian Nationals here 2 years ago. And this year we're very excited to host the Optimus Bahamian Championships October 5th and 6th.
The Optimus Sailing Championship.
Yes, their small boat is called an Optimus Pram. And all of the family islands and Nassau will be participating. We're anticipating approximately 75 to 100 boats this year.
Okay. Tell me, you do sailing and swimming, so you're teaching sailing as well as swimming.
That's correct. All of the students need to pass the swimming tests before they can get into sailboats. And Jackie Miller, my wife, is the swimming instructor, and she works with all the students until they can swim sufficiently and pass all the required strokes. And then they come into the sailing program where they start with beginner sailing classes and can progress through to the Eleuthera swimming and sailing team.
All right. Mind you, I was wondering why you did swimming and sailing, but it just occurred to me, in order to sail on the seas, you must learn how to swim because the boat does capsize at times, doesn't it?
That's right. Safety is one of our premier issues, and we really want to make sure that they're all good, safe swimmers. And once they get into the boats, all sailors are required to wear life jackets.
Okay. Now, what are the different ages for the school? Any age or from
yes,
what to what?
At our club, we start with any age. When I became a U.S. Sailing Level 3 instructor, part of my training was to develop new courses for sailing. And I had noticed throughout the years teaching that most of the clubs started with the kids at 8 years old. And I found that there were many, many kids that could start younger. So we've started a toddler sailing course, and children can start at 3 years old.
So you start at 3?
Yes, we do.
Oh, that's very young. How do you manage with such youngsters?
We have a different syllabus. We have 1-to-1 ratio, which means every student has an instructor 1-to-1.
Okay.
And we do that, of course, for safety reasons.
Right.
We break the program down into smaller segments because their attention span tends to be a little shorter, and we gear the classes towards their age group. We found that it's been very successful, and in the past, where I've worked at other yacht clubs, we've had actually a toddler sailing team, and they learn to race at a very young age.
Wow. And so do they stick with the program, and do you watch them grow from toddler into teenager into adulthood?
Yes, we do. It's a great progress to see progression, and it's fun to be with the children and work with them, teach them sportsmanship and life values throughout the course of their sailing, and they become wonderful, fine young adults. It's very, very good.
How are the Lutherans? How are they embracing this?
They enjoy it very much. The sailors come out. In the summer we do 2 one-week camps, and this summer we had 65 sailors in attendance, and we break up the camps into different activities. We do the sailing and swimming. We also do stand-up paddle boarding, which they're really enjoying a lot. And we also do wakeboarding and skirting behind the powerboat. So we give them quite a variety of activities throughout the course.
Okay, you mentioned stand-up paddle boarding.
Yes.
Tell us a bit about that.
Stand-up paddleboarding consists of a long, sort of a surfboard type board. It's 5 inches thick and 14 feet long, and the students stand on them and they have a paddle, and they learn to paddle through a different obstacle course, and we do relay races for them. It's a great physical activity, and the kids enjoy it a lot. They really do.
All right, now you said the club is in Governor's Harbor.
Yes.
Do you get students or young men and young women from the other settlements of Eleuthera as well?
Yes, we do. We get other students not only from Rock Sound to Gregorytown, but we get students from the States and Canada as well, and Europe.
Oh, so you have a mixture. You have the Bahamians as well as as you said, the foreign element as well.
That's right. It's really nice for the kids to get together and interact and learn about the different cultures.
Oh, yeah. How do you get them to come down? You advertise for this type of thing?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We have flyers, advertisements. We have a Facebook page that's very active.
Well, let's hope you get some from New Providence and Grand Bahama and Exuma, et cetera, et cetera.
That would be wonderful. We're in the process of starting to build a new clubhouse, and hopefully we'll be able to really attract sailors from all over the islands here in the Bahamas and internationally.
Right, because the people from the Bahamas can go to Eleuthera for vacation, but then stick with the sailing club at the same time.
Yes. When I worked in the States and lived here back and forth, we used to have a program where Bahamian sailors would come and visit us at the yacht club in the States, and then the sailors from the States would come to Governor's Harbor and sail with us here.
Okay. So you used to, you're living in Eleuthera, I gather, full-time now, but you used to be back and forth?
That's correct. I used to run sailing programs at the Florida Yacht Club in Jacksonville and at the Barnegat Light Yacht Club in New Jersey, and I would go back and forth. Now we're here full-time running the sailing club here in Governor's Harbor.
Okay. How long have you been living in Governor's?
We've been living on the island 11 years now.
Okay. Ah, so you're familiar with the island?
Very much so. We love it. My wife and I came here 11 years ago to do mission work, and we did mission work for 5 years. And after that term was up, we just decided to stay. We loved it so much.
Okay, that is wonderful. Tell me, what does this type of sport, what does this do? How does this groom young people?
Well, when you're on a boat, you're the captain of the boat, and you're out in the sea, and it's very challenging to all of your senses, and it teaches a lot of self-confidence for the kids. They're out there, and they're in control of their destiny. And when you get in a boat, it's a little more challenging than being on the land. You have the wind and the currents and the waves and things like that challenge you to take care of your vessel and to be safe on the water. When the kids learn to race, it's very challenging. There are tactics and strategies that need to be employed throughout the course of a race, and they learn an awful lot about that.
Okay, so it seems as if in sailing there's a lot to learn. You mentioned the wind and the waves.
That's correct. There are many different elements to sailing, and you really never stop learning. Sailing is similar to a chess match on water, and no two races are the same, and that's why a lot of the sailors do it for a lifetime.
How important is the wind and rain when one is sailing?
Well, the wind is basically your engine, and the wind never blows from the same direction constantly for a long period of time. The wind is shifting and moving. It's oscillating. It increases in velocity. It decreases in velocity, and that makes it very, very challenging for the sailors.
Okay. So I guess wind and luck go hand in hand.
That's right. Absolutely.
I read a book about sailing one time ago, and that seems to be the thing. The first thing a sailor does is look and see which way the wind goes.
That's right.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Skip Miller, tell me, what are your plans for the future for your swimming and sailing club in Eleuthera?
Well, we're very excited to start the construction of our new clubhouse and school. Hopefully that'll be happening in the next few months. Currently, we're preparing for the 2013 Optimist Nationals here in Governor's Harbor, October 5th and 6th of this year. We're very, very busy doing the shoreside activities, food and beverage and entertainment, and we're getting all the race course equipment together, boats, and the personnel to run the regatta. We're very excited for that.
Okay, before I close, tell us a little where you're building the clubhouse. What is it going to house? What type of facilities? How many persons? Tell us a little about your new clubhouse that you're building before we close, sir.
Okay. The clubhouse is projected to be built on Cupid's Key here in Governor's Harbor, and we will have areas for boat building. We'll have areas for boat storage and classrooms as well. We'll have a small area that the sailors can eat and have a small kitchenette upstairs. We're going to be posting some renderings of the building on our Facebook website shortly. We're very excited for this.
Okay. And how are the people in Eleuthera? Are they enthusiastic about this? Are they looking forward to the new
yes,
clubhouse?
very much so. The town is behind us and very anxious to see what we can do for the youth here on Eleuthera.
And how is your wife taking it all in?
She's very, very happy that we're doing the new building. She's teaching, and the new building will have a swimming pool, so she'll be able to teach the new swimmers in the pool and get our swimming team up and running as well.
Okay, and this is being built by you and your wife?
No, the club is being built on donations.
Okay.
And the local builders on the island will be participating in the construction.
Okay, very good. That is very nice. Well, Mr. Miller, we are going to keep in touch with you, and please let us know how the clubhouse, when is it due to be completed?
We're not sure yet.
Okay,
yes.
Okay. It's started already?
No, we're just getting ready to finalize the piece of land where it's to be constructed.
And then plans have to be drawn and all this sort of thing.
Right. We have the plans drawn already, and hopefully construction will start soon.
All right. Okay. And you're looking for... Well, please do keep us up to date, and we must have another interview with you so you can let us know how the clubhouse is progressing.
Very good. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much for the interview, Mr. Miller. We wish you well, both you and your wife, in this endeavor.
Thank you very much. Well, we'll stay in touch, and we'll keep you posted on the progress.
Yes, please do. Thank you. George Harris, a veteran broadcaster, has returned to his native home in Inagua, where he now operates his radio station, Coast 106.1. We have with us today Mr. George Harris of Coast 106.1 in Inagua. Welcome to Around the Family Islands.
Thank you for having me. Glad to speak to you again. It's been a little while.
Yes, right. It's that time. Thank you for joining us here today. How is Inagua?
We are fine up here. We're in the middle of our summer. Just came off the annual Salty Fest Homecoming Festival, so most people are now regrouping and spending time with their kids who are home for the summer holidays.
Okay.
And looking forward to, the new school year.
All right. Now, you have a radio station down there in Inagua, which is called 106.1 Coast. How is your radio station doing?
Coast, over the last just about 5 years now, have really embedded itself in the community of Inagua. It's like a community station. It's a small township, but it fills that gap of communication or media operation in this part of the country. I think we're doing okay. There's still room for improvement as we go along, but so far we're like a part of the Family Island community now.
Okay. What about sponsors for your radio shows? How's that going? I know like you said, it's a small community. Are you having a bit of a challenge there? How is that doing?
Yes, just like the entire country, there's a challenge to stay afloat and keeping up with your utilities and other responsibilities that businesses have. That is the norm, at least in the entire country. But in Inagua, it's not a radio market per se, but there is a dying need to bring this technology or this forum, this communication sector to this part of the country, being that we are a port of entry and the furthermost part of the Southern Islands, and far away from Nassau. And the only thing we were hearing in English outside of 1540 during the early days would be the B Coast 106 in English, and everything else would be in French and Creole and Patois and all the stuff from the countries close by. Okay. So we are now able to hear and share information, news, views, inspire our community to do better in all the areas that we are falling in. And so it's an added boost to our psyche up here in Inagua.
So you're like the first, like you said, English-speaking radio station, as it were. How are the people in Inagua embracing this radio station, 106.1 Coast radio station?
They all enjoy turning on their radios, of course. Like you said, the challenge that we do experience is supporting it financially. That has been an element, not in the best part, for us. But as a people, even the church community, the business sector, and even the cultural sectors of our community, they can utilize it more. I believe there's more room for that. But we have focused a lot on Bahamian music and also indigenous Inaguans who are interested in the area of artistry in the music sector. But, we have made a lot of headway. We do have musicians outside of RV. We have other Bahamian artists who would have come through the process of, bringing their music to Inagua and expanding as now regional artists, in some cases national artists. So I think we're making headway in that sector.
Okay, I couldn't help but notice you said you play quite a bit of Bahamian music. That was nice to hear. And how are the people? Are they enjoying it, or do they like that type of music?
Actually, some of the record labels in New Providence, they use Matthewtown Coast 106 Point as a tester for the products that they put out. Once they're released, they say, let's get it into Inagua. And once the reaction from there indicates it's a hit, it normally turns to a hit in the rest of the country.
Yes.
Folks like KB and D-Mac and out of Grand Bahama, that famous artist, boy's name don't come to mind right now, and he would be hurt to that his name don't come to mind, but it just happened that we do have quite a bit of artists who would send their music here for a tester situation when it was released in the wider community in the Bahamas. So we have a role to play, particularly as a cultural and very talented community when it comes to musicians, artists, and in some cases writers.
I think that artist out of Freeport is Stilto. Still a toast?
Well, it doesn't come to mind right now.
But I think that's his
for
name.
The interview, I would hope I can get that name, because it's not fair not to have his name in there as well.
Is it Stilito?
No, Stilito is actually an Inaguan who resides in Grand Bahama.
Oh, okay.
Well-known artist, yeah.
Okay.
So the Finley from over the hill up on Cartwright Street.
Right.
There it's Berkeley and Cecily Finley. And real hometown boy. Most of his other brothers and sisters are here.
Okay, now, George Harris, I know you worked at Radio Bahamas for a while. How has that, first of all, what made you're from Inagua. What made you go back home and do this? What was the motivating factor?
Many factors involved in returning to your hometown to do things. But in my case, I had a radio license just sitting there for almost 2 years and employed, at Morton, at ZNS. There was a need to utilize the privilege I had to, expand the radio airwaves to Inagua. And instead of, opening in New Providence or one of the metropolitan area, I thought it was a good time to go back to the land of your birth and try to capture the value system as I knew it growing up. The family life, the how we the culture surround building families and training young men and women. I wanted to capture that, and that would be one of the areas to do it as through a medium. And I thought that would be the big thing about it. So it was a serious sacrifice and serious debate among my younger kids and my wife, and where you're going home to Inagua, and all of us have to come back and all that sort of thing. But it so happened that the atmosphere, the environment was not what one anticipate to just transform a family into a sort of remote community and start afresh. So I had to come solo and, get going. But the whole idea about getting into the township is to bring to the island a medium by which we can continue to expand our people and in terms of empowering them in the arts, the music, even as far as encouraging them to speak out as a unit or a group of people to the power brokers in the Providence location, that there is a community that needs serious attention in terms of old infrastructures falling apart, utilizing the port of entry concept where wherever you're coming from district, you have a means of greeting people from that part of the world first before they get into the Bahamas. So I thought it was an ideal thing to be in a position to have the opportunity to have a radio here. And those ships that pass by who never stop here, they will hear there's a little community that, you may want to stop by one day. The idea is to bring recognition to your hometown, and from this area of the country, try to get as much people informed or get their voices heard, and their culture and their expertise, bring that to the forefront.
Right. Now, Mr. Harris, there is a radio station in Abaco. There are stations that are heard in Exuma and Grand Bahama. What do you think, bringing radio to the Family Islands? What do you think the advantages are of doing something like this?
Well, I don't look at once you're in the media as a little segmented area of like radio to a family island or to a remote place. I look at the entire spectrum of radio and its the industry finding your niche market, so to speak, and working with the idea of, if there's not a market, creating a market and a position where you can survive, and going out on the limb to show that the expertise that you've acquired in the metropolitan area over many years, you can transform that to a location and help build an economy, people, and that's the concept of it. So I don't look at it as a family island. It's a part of the country that needs, and it's also getting the support that it needs, particularly with the presence of radio, to help expand and empower our people. That's the way I see it.
Right, particularly in that most southern island in the Bahamas. I think
just not cutting you off, but when you
yes.
said the southern island, the Bahamas, for instance, when you say Inagua, we think of Bahamas here, very essential. When you say mailboat service, now the Lady Matilda organization, very essential. So there are things that the folks will see in New Providence when they go to the dock, the mailboat, and say, oh, that's just a mailboat. But to Inagua, that's a huge and dynamic part of our cultural and well-being. And when you go to the airport at Bahamas here, that's another aspect of it. And then you got the police force, the customs and immigration. Those are all the linkages that comes around those two elements of transportation. And so when the airwaves comes into stream the radio, it then connects us directly through music, song, information, and what have you, to the Bahamas.
Right. And like you were saying, it is very important, and because I'm thinking particularly around hurricane season. You now have a station that speaks English. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, due to no fault of our own, sometimes you can't get certain family islands.
Well, when it comes to the hurricane season from June to November, not only the radio station keeps us informed of the movement of the hurricane, but the preparation before that takes place. And in a community like Inagua, with the radio around, you're able to get the residents to be alert and do the things they need to do early on in the year through continuous PSAs and what have you, and working with the local disaster preparation committee here in Inagua. The hurricane season, most people would have, in the country hear me giving reports on what's going on. And a sector that I thought is essential, and I think over the last years we have seen some improvement, is the Department of Meteorology, where they do have technology here to, check the weather forecast, the rain and what have you, wind speed and those sort of stuff. And one of the things that we are hoping that they could probably have a radar system that can cover our area in the Bahamas, not only in Nagua, they may go on Acklands, Crooked Island District, or those side, because they are the people who really gives us the data. And I'm just the mere voice who, highlight what is happening on the ground in the event that the storm is near or, it's threatening us. But it's not huge a guy that, hey, boy, when it's hurricane time, it's George. It's basically the same folks in New Providence, the NAMR, the meteorologist, and in cases of Inagua, the local fisherman who knows the weather well over here.
Right.
That's the element that we've tried to safeguard. We don't want folks to go there fishing.
Right, exactly.
Because it looks good.
Stay safe. Okay, before I close, I want to ask you quickly, how far do you reach Inaguans? Do you cover, there's Little Inagua, there's Greater Inagua, there's Meguana, Crooked Island. How far does your radio station reach?
Our spectrum covers around 40-mile radius. Inagua really only needs about 15 to cover all the population. I mean, from the Martin Saw, the fisherman who goes out to 20, 30 miles from the island fishing. But it's really, our frequency spectrum just cover that. Of course, my license is a national license, which we hope in the future to cover the entire Bahamas.
All right. And your main station could be from Inagua. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one area that can happen. I mean, there are many airwave signals out there all over the country. But the community of Inagua, which is economically based with, the Morton Salt operation, the salt company, and also another sector that we haven't been talking much about, the fishing sector. When the mailboats come, we have the freezer full of meats heading to town, fish, another part of our industry. So while we cover, the culture and another aspect, we do the weather forecast locally to help fishermen to know, when the waves and the seas, how high they are, or the tide, there was various fishing spots that they go. So the weather is very essential part of our operation too.
Okay.
That every day.
All right. Okay. We must wrap it up now. Mr. George Harris, it has been a pleasure talking with you once again. We wish you well with Coast 106.1 radio station. Please keep in touch. Let us know how you're moving along and your progress. Thank you ever so much. This has been Around the Family Islands with Pamela Isaacs. This program is a production of BIS Broadcasting. Be sure to tune in next time for another trip around the Family Islands.